Now, Joe has been running around frantically finding people for us to talk to that maybe it's their first time, maybe they're sponsors, maybe they're speakers. So yeah, let's. Do we want to bring somebody up, or do we want to talk about what we thought first?
And then we'll start bringing up,
So what stood out to all of you during ng-conf? Let's start with the keynote and the announcements.
Oh, it was an amazing keynote. Super excited about Angular 6. Things like Angular elements and the things in the CLI like ng-update, ng-add. And then, of course, we got to see Nishko and Kara talk about the new rendering engine, which is killer. And they finally got the Hello World app to, 2.7 kilobytes compressed. So, yeah, as Lucas said, hello cake. I actually asked Brad, and he did really bake a cake for the team, and apparently it was scrumptious. So, yeah.
I was going to say, I was disappointed because there's no way he baked all that cake. But
the 2.7 KB thing was the craziest. That was wild.
I know, overachievers. They should have given us like 4 cake. Whatever 4 cake looks like.
2 hello worlds almost.
2 hello worlds, I like it. So yeah, that was exciting, and I'm just excited because, man, trying to figure out which version of which thing works with which thing. I'm sorry, less confusion is a good thing for me because versions are hard.
Counting is hard.
Yeah. I'm going to compare 6 to 1, and no.
So it's as of 6, everything's the same?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's what it looked like. So,
It's a good place to start.
Absolutely.
So, yes, it was a magnificent performance by Kara, and both in terms of her presentation and the work she's been doing, because she's the lion on that team. But then getting to see how it worked, and I have to say that being able to debug into the template and then directly into code that I could actually read, when you get that nasty, one of those nasty errors that you don't know what to do about, the room erupted for very good reasons, because we know what a sore point that is. Can't wait to see Ivy in action. The second thing that really got me about Ivy is that you don't have to change any of your code to enjoy it when that comes. I was really afraid. Afraid isn't the right word. I don't frighten that easily. But I was worried that they might. No, do I worry? No. Okay. I was something that you would have to actually change your binding. There would be brand new binding syntax, and we'd have to go through that again. Not so. Same old stuff. So I think it's really a great thing to look forward to.
One of the things that I appreciate, and I've always appreciated, is just the focus on the community. And really, the story behind Ivy is pretty phenomenal. That a couple of community members, Powell and different ones, said, "Hey, we have this idea. What do you think?" And then that is, basically has turned into Ivy as we know it, which is just a game changer. So the fact that somebody from the community was able to come and say, "We've had this idea, and there's actually merit, and now we have ng-Ivy," which is it's pretty phenomenal that there is that give and take and that relationship with the community, to contribute to the community and the community contribute back is, I think, probably one of my favorite, feel good. I hope they make a movie out of it because it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, the three of those guys, to be able to walk in and say, "I think we have a better way," and have the team listen to it, fantastic.
Yeah, one other thing that I just wanted to call out was the additions to the CLI, so the generators, especially the upgrade generator. So yeah, so you can use update. It's not upgrade. Yeah, I was actually thinking that. I was like, so we have ng upgrade and ng upgrade, but it's update. Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, I think to me, what stood out wasn't the technical stuff in the keynote. It was the message and the story of how that stuff came out. The idea that the Angular team's listening and trying to make all our lives better as developers, as end users, looking at what's going to make a better product, smoothing out the rough edges, smoothing out the experience, allowing us to add packages and create libraries out of Angular. Because think about the ecosystem without something like that. You have a great idea for a library, how do you put it together? Right now it's go watch 15 talks and read a doc and hope you get access to a GDE or somebody to help you. Now with the new code, CLI, that's just baked in. So it's making everybody's lives better, not just today, but looking forward. And to me, that all emanates from Brad's message about community. I really think they really care about the community.
Yep, we got us some power tools. All right, well, do we have some first-timers that we were going to bring up?
Before the first timers, we're going to start with behind the scenes. We got a couple of behind the scenes folks.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got our AV tech, one of our many AV techs here.
We love our AV techs.
Yeah. Right there.
Anywhere.
Yeah, is it all plugged in nicely together?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is
Hi.
Ben.
Hi there. I am the audio guy, so I'm back there for the music. You don't like it, you can come complain to me. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. This is my 3rd year. Yeah, so.
So, little known fact: the music that you listen to, the playlist, every year. This is Ben. I don't know how much extra they pay you to put that playlist together. I imagine it's some large, crazy, huge sum
I
of money.
wish.
But every year he has this playlist that kills it. So this year is actually kind of a cool story about the playlist, right?
Yeah. So, hey, Shy. Hey. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well. So yeah, they called me and told me, hey, the theme is Ready Player One. I'm like, first off, like, okay, heard about the movie, did not hear about the book. And I'm a nerd. I should know these things, but somehow that passed under my radar. So I decided to buy the book last Friday. I was like, you know what? I was going to see the movie, and I'm glad I didn't. And I bought the book, finished it that next Monday. Could not put it down.
Spoiler?
Oh, no, I'm not going to tell you anything. No. But then, so that's why I went through the book, and I literally, everything that was italicized. Okay, what's that song title? Okay, add that in there. Because not going to lie, the one that someone did Ready Player One themes already on Spotify, and I'm going through it and going, that book doesn't mention any of this stuff. But yeah, it was very fun. Definitely got to go back through my parents' roots and all the music they listened to and everything in there. That it was just such a cool story. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a really fun playlist to do. So as the week goes on, I'll add more and more because I did the theme of the first part was with the first gate and the first key, which is today. Tomorrow will be the second gate and the second key, and then so on with the third day.
What?
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't hear.
I just said there's just three keys and 3 gates. That's it. No spoilers. So, yeah.
And then what's your overall impressions of ng-conf? You do a lot of conferences, right?
Yes. This is one of the few that I can actually somewhat understand what's going on. Most of them are medical, so it's like, over my head. The biggest thing that I've been impressed with is the community. And I know you just hit on that. And it's one of the very few conferences where I feel like I am a part of the community, part of the conference, because it's fun. That's why I've always looked at this conference as work/vacation. So it's always very fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know that you. Oh, we got a question.
If I can just jump in real quick. So I was involved with Tech Check yesterday, and that is a really, it's a pretty big undertaking to go through all the slides and everybody hook it up. And so, sound, AV, everybody here, I don't think, I certainly didn't understand all the hard work that goes into actually keeping everything moving and smooth. And so you guys are doing a phenomenal job. I have such a respect for it. And, it's like, when things work well, we don't even know you exist until it doesn't work. But you guys are doing great, and I appreciate all the hard work, and really easy to work with. I mean, if you can deal with Shy for, I mean.
I was just about to jump in and say, I say it every year, I can't believe the amount of positive attitude that all of the production team has. Because I always come up with crazy, stuff that I'm hoping you can deal with, and you said, no problem, yeah, we can do that.
All I say to that, and I know I've had many clients tell me, I'm so sorry, we're so hard to work with. I tell them, simply say this: it's your job to put the hoops for me to jump through. Now, if you decide to light it on fire, I'll still jump through it. But I may crash and burn, but I'm gonna do my best job. And actually, it is very, humbling to hear that, because normally we don't get the thank you. But Air 5, definitely. I'll make sure I tell the rest of the guys that too, because we all enjoy coming back here. So look forward to many more.
How big is your team?
Brandon? 23 people.
23. So I've got to say, do you mind me talking about what happened yesterday, Brandon? I've been speaking for a long time, about 180 years. And
It doesn't look like it, but it's
thank you very
100.
much. I'm very good for 192. So yesterday something happened to me that's never ever happened to me in speaking before, and couldn't figure it out. And then Joe had a similar experience when he was speaking. We would literally be talking, Dan Walling and myself, and the projectors would just go out, and then they come back, then they go out, then they come back, and then we started realizing if we touched the table or we walked, it would go out and come back. So we told Brandon and your team this, and we didn't know what was going on. I came back from lunch, and I think all 20-something of you were there. They were laying cardboard down on top of the stage because they found out it was static electricity. So they were standing on stage, rubbing their feet, and then touching laptops, and the projectors would go out. And they figured this out quickly, replaced it all, replaced all the wires, got everything running. We had no issues whatsoever after that. And to me, going through a lot of this, sometimes the AV teams, when you're at conferences, they don't want to hear it. You know, it's like, hey, I'm having a problem with projector. They're like, oh, it's that guy again. You know, can't you just deal with it?
Yeah.
And they were all so amazing. I just thought it was just, you guys handled it so well. So kudos.
Thank you.
So I know you haven't eaten lunch. We'll let you go. You can get a bite to eat. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Ben.
And next we got Whitney, who also works behind the scenes.
Ooh. Yay!
Yeah, Whitney.
Hi.
Hey, Whitney.
I like being behind the scenes.
So what's it like running ng-conf?
You should have gotten Sunny because she runs ng-conf, but it's fun and exciting, and I'm not a coder, and I don't know what you guys are talking about, but
No?
no, I know. But I love being here, and like it was previously said, I love the community, and we love. I've done it every single year, and I love it when the usual cast of characters comes in, and we get to greet them again and kind of catch up after all these years, or after a year. And we've done several other conferences where we see you guys at those as well. So it's really fun. I have a great time. So.
Any crazy problems this year? Anybody come in and yell at you, or has it been all smiles?
It is Wednesday, so far so good. I had a very nice girl who did not get a fortune cookie and a t-shirt, and she was super cute about it, and we hooked her up. So if you are missing swag or if you need something, come visit us in the swag room, and we have tons of candy, so come visit us. We use that as a bribe so that you'll still come say hello while we're in there.
And your favorite fun idea from this year?
Can you tell it? Because it's just the beginning of the...
Nothing
is-
is a secret. Nothing that's a secret yet.
Truly, I'm an 80s child, so I'm loving all of it. I love the videos, I love the gaming. Make sure you come get some pins. I worked at TGI Fridays in a previous life, and so I've got oodles of flair, and you should too, because the 80s were awesome.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I need to go and do rehearsal, so sorry.
Okay. Bye, Shai.
Bye, Shai.
Should we do Mishko?
Yeah.
Mishko.
Mishko. Mishko, did you know that me and Uri, we talk about you sometimes and we call you Fishko?
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? It's a very loving nickname
Sounds like
we
a
have.
fish.
Where do we go with that?
Sorry, that was a weird intro.
That was a weird
take
intro.
it away.
So Fishko, I'm curious. When do you, as the Angular team, start preparing for ng-conf?
I'd prefer not to answer that question because it was, I think, Friday?
I figured it was probably either that or at the end of the week you're like, all right, what are we doing next year? So.
We have some planning, etc., but yeah, it's not like the last minute to get the stuff done.
Well, I can imagine that some of these things you're waiting to see what comes together. And so you don't want to announce anything that's not finished or not ready for us to start looking at.
So we have ideas of what we want to build and how to get there, etc., and we prefer not to announce anything until we have some prototypes actually working, right? So like you could see with Kara that the stuff is real. We have real code actually behind it that actually exercises it, and we can do it, and we can try it. So we're feeling pretty confident that we can execute on this particular thing. Some of the other things we have, like ideas, etc., we'll have design decks, etc., but we will not talk about in conferences about them just yet.
That
I
makes
have a
sense.
question.
And by the way, the design docs are usually public, so it's not like we're keeping secrets.
So this is what I want to know. So because of Angular, I'm literally 100 air now.
You're what?
100 air.
You've heard of millionaire?
100 air. So I've made like at least $100 off of Angular because of this. And so, I mean, I would imagine, everyone here is, this is a major part of their livelihood, but that's actually a really small portion. It's the fact that I've made a ton of friends. I've got to go places. I mean, so Angular's impacted a lot of people's lives in a really positive way. I mean, there's kind of, in my case, it's a very strong inflection point. When you set out to create Angular, like, did you ever imagine, like, you would affect, people's lives on, a scale of, like, 1 million people, or?
No, I have not. And I'm still kind of in denial about it. The lucky thing is that we have this nice partnership going between Brad, myself, and Igor, right? And so Brad is very much into building community and making sure everybody's included and inclusiveness, etc. I prefer to just like be in my computer, don't bug me, I'm just a geek. And then Igor kind of brings it all together to make sure it's polished and well received. So it just so happens that the three of us came together in such a good way, and we really complement each other. And of course, there's a larger team who's doing a lot of the work for us, etc. So let's not forget those.
Well, on behalf of myself and everyone else here, thank you so much for, creating something that we can all love and is create a positive impact.
Well, thank you for using it, because without you guys, I'd be just a crazy guy with a computer. That's it. You're kicking me off the stage?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right.
You're done. We got more important people to talk to.
Thanks, Misko.
Who should we get next?
We got sponsors, speakers, and attendees. Who do you want next?
Let's do the sponsors.
All right, sponsors. Let's start with. Let's see. We got a guy from Rebug, right? Rebug. There we go. And I don't know your name.
I'm Brian Love.
Brian Love.
Ooh, love that. Love that name.
Thank you. Am I supposed to say something? Okay. We're a sponsor for ng-conf. Happy to be here. Awesome
say your
community.
company's name again?
Rebug. Yep. Yeah, great company. We do Angular consulting. Yeah, we love Angular and NGRX and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
So what's it like?
What's it like to be a sponsor?
Well,
Or to be here at ng-conf?
Both. I want to hear both sides.
Okay. To be here at ng-conf is awesome. It's totally a dream come true. I came 2 years ago, and I wasn't able to come last year. I sat in front of my computer for 3 days straight and watched the YouTube, which was a lot of fun too. But it's awesome to be here and meet people and hang out. And I have a list of questions that I want to ask people. So.
Do you actually cross it off? You're asking them and you're like,
Well,
okay,
I was telling one of the guys, we just did 2 days of training with some of our guys on our team, and I was telling him, all right, we're going to ask him this, we're going to ask him that. And then I asked him, I was like, you got that list? He's like, oh, I thought you were joking. I was like, bro, come on, man. So, yeah, so it's been great. So
I'm curious what your experience is being here as a sponsor versus, say, a regular attendee, because most of the attendees, they come, they'll sit through some talks, they'll meet people in the hallway, but the sponsors, you kind of have a dedicated space.
Yep.
You get to hand out swag, you get to meet people,
Yeah,
you
it's
get to talk to them
super
about
fun.
what you're working on.
yeah, and what they're working on, and
Yeah.
what they love about what they're doing, and what are some of their challenges, and where they're going with stuff. So it's really fun just to get to hang out in the booth. We got a little game you can play. We're giving away a MacBook Pro, which, come on, that's nice. And so,
I just so
Yeah,
happen to need a
absolutely.
MacBook Pro.
What's that? You just happen to need one?
Actually, this is kind of funny. Day one, I'm teaching 2 workshops, Monday and Tuesday, right?
Okay.
This last Monday, Tuesday. I show up at my workshop, I turn it on, plug it in. Samantha, who gave that amazing 5-minute lightning talk just
Yeah,
a little
that
bit
was
ago.
awesome.
She comes in and she's like, let's sing some 80s song. We pull up some 80s music with lyrics. So she's karaokeing for 20 minutes on my computer, right? Then it's time to do the workshop. Turn it off, I start coding, and my laptop restarts. And then every 2 minutes, it's just restarting. Every 2-3 minutes, completely. And I had to borrow somebody else's laptop.
Did she put a thumb drive in the side and execute some code, and you were just you're karaokeing, and she's just
We tried all kinds of things. Something seemed to work, and then later on that night it was the same thing. So I got to go buy me a new laptop.
Well, come by our booth and maybe
Play
you
the
can
game.
win one, man.
All right, I like it.
Joe, I
Were
will
you
get
using the
kicked out
NG
for
reboot
stuffing the
directive?
ballot for you.
NG reboot. I like it.
NG reboot, nice.
I'm totally willing to get kicked out by stuffing the ballot for you.
So
It works in Russia. It works here, right?
yeah,
I asked Jesse Sanders,
yeah, he's our CEO,
CEO.
founder. Yeah.
I asked him this question, but I got an interesting answer. I want to ask you. Your
All right,
opinion
man, bring it.
here.
Let's do
Not
it.
trying to get in trouble, but brie bug,
Yes.
cheese with bugs in it.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird name, isn't it? Like, so they sponsor the Rocky Mountain Meetup, and I remember I went to the first thing and I like saw the slide and I was like, brie bug, like what does that mean, man? It's actually a really cute story. He's got 2 daughters. He named, I guess they have like, he's got like, names for them and calls one of them Brie and one of them Bug. I don't know. Go talk to Jesse. He's in the booth. You can ask him. And so it's kind of a unique name. I think he wanted to come up with something that was like really unique that, obviously the domain was available, I assume, unless somebody else had Brie Bug. Maybe you had to buy it. I don't know. So, yeah.
And it definitely sounds better than bug brie. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll mention that to him. I'll be like, it was a really good idea that you didn't like. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So.
Well,
yeah,
awesome.
happy to be
I'm
here.
So glad you're here. This is your first year?
This is my second.
Second year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So stoked.
welcome back.
Yeah, we actually our flight almost didn't make it last night. Denver had these crazy high winds.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
we
were
did get a
supposed
high
to
wind
leave.
alert.
Did you?
Yeah.
We were supposed to leave at 6, and then we didn't end up getting on the plane until 12. We got here 2 a.m. last night.
Oh,
So I got 4 hours of sleep, but I did not miss the keynote. I was like, I am not missing this. So.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. All right, I think we need to have Jess and Asim come up here and arm wrestle.
Ooh.
Battle of the Beards. Come on, Jeff and Awesome. Get up here.
Yeah, we got Jeff, who works for Narwhal as Asim's a speaker. He's not up yet.
Oh,
He's not up yet. We need Jeff. Jeff's
I
next.
thought they were both
I
speakers.
thought it would be a funny
I was
dynamic,
confused.
but
Well, they.
Oh.
Yeah, let's have Jeff up next, and then we could have the
Welcome
two
to
of
the
them arm
stage,
wrestle
Jeff.
for a prize.
Clap, 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 clap.
I'd like to
Thank
see
you.
that.
Thank you.
Actually, so the beard who needs no introduction, Jeff's beard, and
Ooh. Did you figure out who it is?
So my beard has a Twitter account, and I don't know who runs the account.
You don't know.
And I've always suspected Tracy Lee, but she's adamantly denied. I actually got a hold of her phone and checked her Twitter app to see, and it wasn't a profile in her Twitter app. The only other person I've suspected is David East, who's also here. I haven't checked his phone yet, so I'm going to trick him into letting me see his phone at some
I'm not
point.
sure that's legal.
Is it legal to even have a beard account for somebody who? So it's quid pro
People set
quo.
them up for
it's,
their
it's a
dogs.
gray area legally.
Gray area,
right, yeah.
like my beard.
So Ward has a jacket. Ward's one jacket has its own Twitter account as well. If you look on there.
See, he deserves it more.
Yes, we know who runs that one there. So.
Who's that?
Oh, you don't know? Well, then I'm not telling you.
It's probably the same person. Let's work together.
Yeah. They have their own quest.
So
Go find the copper key.
Yes.
Jeff, you have a very unique perspective. You were here as a speaker, part of the Angular team. Now you're here as a sponsor. You're also doing some speaking, and you did a workshop. You've done tons of stuff at ng-conf over the years.
I'm a 5-year ng-conf. I have a button
You got your
somewhere.
5-year button?
Button for that?
There's a button for 5-year.
Whoa.
Yep, right here. So
There it
5
is.
years. Yep.
There it is. So, overall, what's your impressions of ng-conf, specifically this
It's
year?
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's moderate.
So ng-conf is it's one of the conferences that I won't miss. It's okay, there's a bunch of Angular conferences now, which is awesome, but when we say, okay, we can only invest our time, money, and presence in one, it's ng-conf is the most obvious place because it's the first one, it's the official one that everyone wants to be at, and it's I think it's because of the focus on community, on inclusion, and quality. The talks are the process for selecting top talks is just and the speakers who show up here are just such a high bar that other conferences are good, but I know I don't even have to think about it with ng-conf that it's going to be a great show.
Jeff, you're already in. You don't have to kiss his butt.
He's working on next year,
Yeah.
buttering it up for next year.
But it's a lot more expensive to show up as a sponsor, I realized. Than, when Google used to pay for me to come, I never thought about how much it cost. But yeah, being a sponsor is great because we've met clients through just being out there talking with folks. And so like last year at ng-conf, we had some nice new relationships come out of that. And so even just like talking technical things with people is a lot of fun. Like a lot of people come up and say, we've got this interesting problem. How would you approach it? And it's like we get nice insight of, like we build NX now. I'll plug our open source project NX. And so that's been built out of seeing real world challenges of people building Angular at scale. And so like the more we like talk to people and actually see how people at many teams are doing things, the more we learn and we're able to do make NX better and also tailor the consulting and training we do better.
Do you have any favorite moments so far from the conference? I know it's early on.
The workshop was a lot of fun yesterday. Like we presented NX and some other things there, and so hearing people say this, I had no idea what this was going into it, but now going back to my team and taking some of these things we learned and we're going to try it has been a lot of fun. Speaker dinner was fun. Seeing friends, just like seeing friends that you see maybe once or twice a year is a lot of fun, especially Lucas Rubelkey, Ward Bell, Chuck, I only see once a year. Ward I see a little more often, probably. Show up at meetups and
We're going
stuff.
to hang out every day when you move to Phoenix.
Yeah, so.
Oh, you're moving to Phoenix?
I am moving to.
Oh, lucky ducky.
Was that under the NDA? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was under NDA, but we don't have an NDA, but it would have been.
It would have been.
No, it's happy to be moving back to the heat.
Anything else
Is that it?
Anything else you want to mention before we kick you
Go
off?
try NX.
Try NX.
It's like Angular CLI. It's on Angular CLI, but a few more extensions, a few more enterprise-friendly things that we think are pretty awesome. And come to our booth and chat with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Asim.
Arm wrestle.
there's the arm wrestle.
wrestle.
There we go. You're off camera.
Baby, he just gave it. He gave it.
You're
You're
off camera.
We're gonna make you do it on
gotta
camera.
Be on camera. Right in the center. That's on camera. Right in the middle.
I'll put up a fight this time.
Okay, yeah, actually try.
Okay, ready?
Oh, this is
1,
an awkward angle.
2, go.
Oh,
May the best beard
okay.
win.
He's cheating too.
What happens when the beards
Oh, okay. Was that cheating? I don't know. I'm not really sure arm wrestling rules.
Yeah, you win if you get higher than the other guy.
His drink. Jeff, your drink made a major
I think he
spot.
peed his pants after your talk, and that's what that's what that ring is. Jeff peed his
There's a
pants.
nice ring.
What questions did you scare him?
My bad. That was my bad for sure. I don't know. We're just gonna swap that out real quick. Don't you mind it?
Nice.
Narwhal should sponsor the chair replacement.
Oh, so how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just about recovering from the jet lag, but yeah.
Already? How long have you been here?
Less than 24 hours.
Okay, and you're a spry one. So, are you a speaker or sponsor? I'm confused on our.
I'm a speaker.
Okay.
He just spoke. What was it? An hour ago?
So
Yeah.
you're okay,
Yeah.
but not a sponsor. So you're, and tell us
Well-
about your talk because I missed it.
We're sponsoring as well.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah,
So he is a speaker sponsor.
I'm a speaker.
Don't you judge me,
Yeah.
Joe. Oh, okay. So what was your talk? Because I totally missed it. Tell me about it.
My talk was about how to hack an Angular application, but it was more general than that. It was more generally talking about how to hack a web application with a couple of separate stories. So, yeah.
And did it go over well? Were you pleased?
I was very pleased with how it went over. This is I gave it once or twice before, and this is the largest audience I've gave it to. I was pretty nervous when I got on stage, but yeah, it was comfortable by the end, so I was quite glad. Did everybody like it?
Ooh, we got some. Yes.
Awesome, thanks.
I really
How
did
scared
like it.
were you?
How scared was I? I've
Yeah,
done it
I know.
several times before, so I'm okay with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You asked us if we'd ever been so scared that we peed ourselves, so I was just making sure, you know.
I think that's what Jeff
the,
just did.
The npm install one, I think maybe I did pee myself a little first time I saw that one. But,
Yeah.
So what I want to know is, what did your boss, John the Papa, think of it?
Make of the talk.
Yeah, so actually, that's not for you. I don't
Yeah,
know why
that's
I'm
for
looking
him.
at you. John, what did you think of Awesome's talk?
So first, I thought it was great. Asim is great, but everybody should know that you're saying his name wrong. We had this talk in our team that his real name is Awesome. So we have renamed him Awesome,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and
So-
I've been waiting for this for about 41 years now. So it's happened. Pretty
Well,
happy.
you earned it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So awesome.
Yeah.
You were part of the hosting team from Microsoft doing the artificial intelligence hack the
Yep.
other night. Could you maybe tell people how that went? It was a free hackathon.
Yeah, it was a hackathon we had yesterday. It was a 3-hour hackathon, so a pretty short one. We're using, one of my passions actually is AI. We have, one of the reasons I joined Microsoft, we've got a really great suite of AI APIs called cognitive services. And they're really good. One thing I say is if you can do a HTTP request, you can do AI, and that's what I love about them. You can just knock up an app really quickly. It's really interesting to see what people are knocking up in 3 hours. Because, I was a bit worried. 3 hours isn't a lot of time to make an application. An hour in, I was a little bit more worried. 3 hours in, I was like, wow, these people are building some pretty cool stuff. So, yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Well, we only have so much time for you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for speaking.
Thank you very much.
And then let's get Albert
absolutely.
and Eric to come up.
Oh, it's these guys. They're
Yes.
boring.
I've met you guys like on the computer, but it's such an honor to meet you in IRL. Oh my God, I'm such a fangirl.
So, tell me, literally, that was the definition of crushing it in a talk, right?
Yeah, it was kind of stressful on our end because we didn't expect the number to rocket up that fast or that high, the connected devices. So
You ever seen that commercial where some company launches some product and they see the user count goes up and it goes up to 100 and then it goes to 200 and everybody's celebrating and then it's 2,000 and 5,000, everybody starts freaking out and running for the server room.
yeah, when we hit the 900 mark,
We're like, all right, is the server or is the Wi-Fi going to go out? Like,
Yeah.
one of these things is going to break.
yeah, so 5 minutes isn't a lot of time to account for failure too.
So I don't know if we actually introduced you.
yeah.
These are the Stack Blitz fellas. And right? Woo, indeed.
Yeah,
Thank
Stack
you.
Blitz. All
yes.
right.
And you recently got Stack Blitz onto the docs, right? And actually, I did ng Girls yesterday, day before. And yeah, woo, ng Girls. And they actually had Bill rewrite ng Girls so that it's using Stack Blitz now.
Oh,
and so
sweet.
it was, and just talk about getting up and running right away
Yep.
and being able to teach immediately versus like, okay, let's download everything, right? So it was
Yep.
it was incredible, and I'm just such a fan of you two
Crossing
and the
those
work you've
fingers.
Yeah, I mean, that teaching was the use case that we actually built the tool for originally because we run the site called Thinkster.io, and a lot of the people that were learning Angular were having trouble learning Angular itself because they get stuck in like installing Node or like Webpack or FS. Like just all this stuff will randomly break, and so they're like Angular's broken, but it's really like their file system ran out of watchers or something, right? so StackBlitz is our way of like, okay, learn Angular, and once you learn that, then you can feel comfortable walking backwards because you'll know it's not Angular that's broken, right?
Right.
So that was actually our motivation for building the thing.
The thing that I used to run into a lot when I was teaching people to code Ruby or JavaScript was that they'd run into a problem on Windows, and I've been using Mac for so long, I'd just be looking at them going, I have no clue what is wrong. So it's nice. It's all on the web. It's just like, bring up the page. You're good.
Yeah, the web's the universal runtime, right? Like that is the biggest value of, or that's the biggest value StackBlitz brings is that it kind of cuts out compatibility issues, which is actually surprisingly a lot of the issues is just compatibility stuff. So I don't know.
So how's it being at ng-conf? Is this your first time, or you guys been here before?
Yeah, first time attending and speaking. So
And even just being in Salt Lake City. I think for both
Oh
of us.
wow, it's a twofer.
Yeah, we landed and we're like, they have mountains here? Where did you know that? I guess that makes sense.
Great
They
view,
ski.
though.
Like, that's a big thing, right? That actually happened. I'm not joking.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, the town's awesome. ng-conf has been super cool. Yeah, we've loved it, every minute of it.
They brought the mountains in just for the conference.
how much did that cost?
You don't want to know.
It was expensive.
I think Microsoft sponsored it.
Or NX. Narwhal.
All right, any more questions for these guys? All right, let's bring up some attendees. Thanks for coming up, and
Cool.
thanks for that
Hey,
awesome
thank you.
talk.
Appreciate it.
And thank you so much for StackBlitz.
You rock.
We had our first two attendees come up with a pair in purple. This is wearing our official attendee jacket.
Nice.
Okay, what color is this?
Names?
A panel,
Oh.
what color are they wearing?
Purple.
This is Heather.
Yeah.
Red.
We got
Yeah,
three
I'm so
answers from
sophisticated.
three.
I'm sitting here going, yeah, it's
Three
purple.
answers.
So sorry.
This is-
Can you tell them? So he's colorblind,
This is a fight between me and Jules.
and I'm a horrible person.
Is it red? Is
like
it
red or purple,
Is
I
it
don't know.
burgundy? Is it plum? Is it purple?
We can settle this with an arm wrestle too.
Yeah, we can arm wrestle. Okay,
High five?
Jules will
Oh.
kick my butt. Look at Jules' guns. She would kick my butt.
Yeah, no
Come on,
contest.
come on, Jules. Let's arm wrestle for the color. All right, we're gonna arm wrestle.
Oh no. Oh no.
I think you
All
mean
right.
yes.
I mean yes. Okay, Jules is going for the burgundy, whereas Joe's going for purple. Okay, burgundy versus purple. All right,
Joe, it's not too late to back out.
Joe, you need to win this. It's not burgundy. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Jules takes the win with a 2-arm burgundy, and we're not sure if it
Everybody
counts.
saw that coming. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, Joe. Like,
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, what's it like being? So first off, how many times have you come
This is my first time.
I was here last year.
here last year? Okay, and what's it like?
I can tell you that it's been amazing so far. I was here for the first day of workshops. We're planning on doing a migration from Angular JS to Angular, and I can tell you that I was in Joe's class with the Mac issues. But it's been awesome so far. Been learning a ton, and just from the keynotes and stuff, I'm really excited to be moving up in Angular from Angular JS. I don't know about you.
Yeah, so last year was my first experience with ng-conf, Angular, and conferences, and it is amazing here, you guys. And I've been to a few now for the last year. This is the best conference I've been to. The right size, approachable, amazing. So I work with a dev team in Ukraine. They are skilled on Angular, and I am not. I'm a C# backend developer coming into the JavaScript stack.
you just made a best friend.
Yeah, so I've got all the learning to do, and I went to the RxJS workshop. That was amazing. Observables is new to me, so just, yeah, learning all the things. Angular CLI, it's approachable.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
makes it like super easy to just implement new things. Yeah.
All right, how about what favorite talk so far today?
I think favorite was probably the security one, just because of how much it scared me. I was very shocked at the NPM issues because I really don't look at that, and that could have easily happened to me. So that's really scary for
I
me.
don't think I've ever heard a talk winning by fear, so that's very unique. It was very unique.
I loved Kara's talk on Ivy. I loved Dan. So I saw Dan's Docker talk at the meetup, and then his recap today was awesome.
Yeah, awesome. I love his Docker talks. That's how I actually learned Docker. So it's been awesome.
And so far, favorite part of the conference that wasn't actually a talk?
I'd say the people, like just networking. I've been talking to a whole bunch of people. I got to talk to John Papa, which is like amazing, and Dan Wallin and all of you
Isn't
guys
it? I
here.
feel the same way all the time. Every time I get to talk to them, it's so
It's crazy. I feel like I fangirl way too much, but it's true.
Yeah, the meetup. So Ward, hearing Ward dive into components and just the expertise and the approachability of everyone. Yeah.
I'm surprised that no one's mentioned the Gorgon or Brad Green balloon sculptures. That's probably my favorite part outside of the talks because it's a Brad Green and Gorgon balloon sculpture. If you haven't seen it, you must go.
cool. And they're like a natural pair, right? If you're going to do one, you got to do the other. All right. Thanks so much for coming on, you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
And our other two attendees?
While they're coming up, I just have to ask, where do you guys come up with this stuff? The balloon, Gorgon?
Yes, tell us.
Well, I mean, there's so many people involved with ng-conf, and what's funny is there'll be somebody that'll just say something weird like, what about balloons? And then, you think in a normal business, like John, we're over at Microsoft, and I say, what about balloons? I get fired.
Actually, that's a common thing now.
Oh, right.
It's a new Microsoft.
At Build this year, we had two ideas. One, I said, how about henna tattoos of Azure? They're like, we'll do that. How about a puppy cuddling area? And they're like, yeah. So we're going to have a puppy cuddling area at our conference, which 5 years ago, that would have been like, you would have been fired.
I'm going to be at Build, and I'm going to get a video of John Papa cuddling puppies.
Yes, please.
You're on, man.
So, what are your names? Tell us about yourselves.
My name is Bryson. I'm a software engineer for a company here in the Valley, 1-800-CONTACTS.
And I'm Joe Skeen, and I work as a software developer at Health Catalyst, also here locally.
And people may recognize Joe. Last year, he and his fantastically adorable daughter, Gwen, spoke at ng-conf.
Yeah.
How old is Gwen now?
She's 6, going on
She's
7.
already big 6. Wow. It just seemed like just last year she was 5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And next month she'll be 7, and it's just like going by too quick. But yeah, she's at NG Kids today, and she's loving it.
So, favorite talk so far?
Wait a minute. I want to know if you're in violation of child labor laws.
I'll give you my lawyer's contact info. You can follow up there.
Favorite talk so far?
Go for it.
I have a confession.
Oh, no. I love confessions.
Well, I got here a little bit late. Today was my kindergarten daughter's program at school. But I got here in time for Dan Walline's Docker talk, and I love, like you said, I love listening to Dan Walline talk about Docker. I'm working, I don't remember how many of the guys I work with listen to this podcast, but I'm trying to get Docker into our company. No, I mean, the thing that I've really loved is when I first got here, I just started talking to the sponsors because there was nobody out there. So I just grabbed a piece of cake and started walking around talking to people, and it's been great. It's been fun.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, the keynote this morning was just, man, that knocked my socks off, and then it did it again and again, and I had to pull them back on. Like, that was pretty awesome. A lot of things that I've been, as an Angular developer, wanting for a long time are just like happening. So, pretty neat.
So, have you two signed up for the quest yet?
I have the first key.
What?
You?
I've not gotten there yet.
Okay, all right, we all gotta brush up on our skills.
And other than in talks, what favorite part of ng-conf so far?
Honestly, I'm absolutely starstruck being on the stage with you guys right now. I'm shaking. And I think every single one of you, I've at least gone through at least one of your plural sites, right? Actually, Joe, a while back, tweeted about that new scoring stuff that they do, right? And so I took the assessment for Angular JS. I scored higher than him. So
well done.
So
well
I tweeted
done.
him about it. I
Yep,
tweeted it to
I
him.
remember this.
And then he tweeted back. You remember he tweeted back?
What'd you say?
He said he thinks that my score is even higher than John's.
Oh.
So I blamed it on the fact that that they're both working in Angular and I'm still working in Angular JS.
Right, yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of ironic because they both taught me everything I know about Angular JS. So
Obviously not everything. We taught you 99%, and then you learned that 1 extra percent.
yeah, I
and
guess so.
Saying that's great to hear, though, that you're learning stuff. You're talking about the plural site IQ, I think, where you basically take a score and they rate where you are. Yeah, you choose a framework or language like Node, JavaScript, C#, or for Word, punch cards, and they rate you where you are in relation to other people in the world. Punch cards, JS. Hey, there's our great name for NGRX data. We'll call it punch cards, NGRX punch cards.
Somebody register that domain quick.
Oh, that's good to hear, though.
Cool.
Any other final questions for our last set of attendees? All right, thanks. Thanks, both of you, for coming up.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's finish up with some impression, or final impressions of ng-conf, and then we'll wrap.
Yeah, I want to see your impressions, please. Thank you.
Exactly. I can do an impression of a very angry dad. You did what to your hair?
I do have to say that I worry a little bit that this conference spoils people for other conferences, because a lot of the other conferences you show up, you visit in the hall, you listen to the talks, you meet the speakers, and you go home. And there's so many other things going on here.
Yeah, as an organizer, one of my absolute #1 goals is I want to make friends while I'm here at ng-conf. I want to meet new people and I want to make friends. And I can't make friends if they're not here. So all of the other stuff that we do is just a bribe to get people to stay around so that I can meet them.
And I think that might be why it's so magical, because of all the cool moments you get because of that. So.
I absolutely agree. Like, so many magical moments come from meeting random people and just talking and saying, I love to say hi to everybody. I sit down next to somebody new every 10 minutes because I get up and go somewhere and have to sit down, and there's somebody new and I get to sit and chat and talk with
Somebody
them.
sitting in your seat.
Somebody sitting in my seat.
I think that's fair to speak for all of us, just to say, look, if you want to come talk to any of us, just come and say hi.
So last year I tried something new, which I didn't tell people about, and I'm doing it again this year, and that's I kept track of how many people I at least talked to for more than 10 seconds. I kept track of it on my phone, and I got over 150 people last year at ng-conf that I spoke to and had conversations with. And the great part about that for me was not only meeting people, I'm seeing a lot of them again, which is great to see repeat people coming, but I learned a lot about how they use Angular and the way that they learn, and what they didn't like was almost more important than what they did like. And I'm doing that again this year, and I'm not quite there yet, but
How do you have a counter or like a
just a little counter on the
clicker?
phone.
Oh, okay.
And after I have a I don't do it while I'm talking to you, going, hold on a second, let me count. But yeah,
I thought you were going to say memory, and I was going to be like, ooh.
I can alphabetically recite their names. They're all named Joe. No, it's great. Come up and talk to any of us. We all love having chats with everybody, so that's how we all get better.
Anything else? I'm curious, how many of you listen to the podcast?
Everybody. Look at that. Everybody in the room.
That's all the hands, yeah.
Everyone's raising their hands. This is amazing. That's what I'm seeing.
That's all 20 downloads.
Yeah. Does anyone have questions about the podcast? We have a few minutes.
Yeah, questions?
Or about any of the panelists?
We'll just throw the mic at you.
Ooh, yeah.
I think one obvious question is, yes, Joe does love Star Wars that much, and yes, Ward is
Does
not a
hate it
fan.
much.
This is not made up.
He's got his Luke Skywalker wig on.
Yeah, that is your Luke
I'm not a
Skywalker
fan.
wig, right?
Oh, this thing here?
Yeah.
Well, you know, John shaved this morning, and I got the hair off the floor, and I'm wearing it.
So
Locks of love.
John and I have to fight over who is the biggest Star Wars fan. And this year I'm winning, because I'm going to go to Star Wars Night at Disneyland.
I didn't know John, he was even in contention for liking Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, huge fan.
I was going to go to that, but I've got a root canal scheduled.
John is the kind of fan that spends so much money on Star Wars stuff.
Like
that you
stuff or
just-
like going?
Mostly
see
the events, right?
all of it? Okay.
Like experiences. How many Star Wars toys do you own?
I have all the original toys from the original series when I was a kid, and I took them out of boxes about 4 years ago for my kids to play with, cleaned them off, and it was like Christmas. So we have like 4 bookcases of all the original ships and characters and all the stuff. It's a lot of fun. And last year was my big excitement. I went to Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, and Harrison Ford and George Lucas made a surprise visit. So I got to be about 20 feet from them, and I got to be a fanboy, which was pretty cool. It's not as cool as meeting Ward Bell in person, but it's up there.
Actually, John likes to torture me. One time I stayed over at his house and I arrived. He put me up in his guest bedroom. I walk in there. Every one of those toys is staring at me all night
Now,
long.
is that where you keep the toys normally, or did
and
you
I mean,
arrange this?
hundreds of them, and there was Star Wars sheets. I was itchy all night long. But I got back at him because at night I turned all of the Star Wars toys facing the wall, facing away from me. So when his kids came in and they screamed, "Ah!"
My 4 children heard Ward was coming over and staying in the guest bedroom. They got all the toys. And they put the Star Wars sheets for my son on his bed and everything. And Ward, to his credit, never said a word. And then we went up there the next morning and looked, and we saw all the toys turned around or upside down. It was hysterical.
You guys are a hoot.
Nice. Well, anything else we should talk about before we wrap it up?
Any other thing? No?
All right. Well, thanks to you all for listening. The podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play, pretty much wherever you get podcasts. Adventures in Angular, adventuresinangular.com. And yeah, if you have any feedback or anything like that, just let any of us know, and we'll. It'll probably come back to me, and then we'll do something about it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. We love
Thanks,
you guys.
everybody.
Thank you.